All right, it's Mike. It's Mike and Mike's Book Club. And boy, do I have a book for you. We've been reading different books to enriching ourselves and to grow in the knowledge. We grow into the knowledge and we grow to learn how to be equipped to handle the changes in life and handle the progress in life. I've got a few books that I'm reading this year. I am myself, I'm part of another book club, and the leader of the book club is gave us some books on leadership. So I started reading a book on leadership and found out a great fellowship of mine that was reading the book. And it sounded interesting, and I was moved to get that book and read it. And the name of that book is The 52 Laws of Kingdom Leadership. 52 Laws by Kingdom Leadership. I can't quite pronounce the person's name, so I'll let you look it up. It's 52 Laws of Kingdom Leadership. Discovering and understanding laws of the kingdom. Let me tell you a little bit about the book today. The 52 Laws of Leadership is about powerful and yet practical principle that would challenge you to follow wholeheartedly the footsteps of Jesus and his word. So you get that idea. It's without a doubt one of the most interesting books I read. In this book, Jesus is and will always be the standard role model for what true kingdom leadership should be. I know you look around and you see various leaders who have achieved some measures of success in life. And when they achieve that, they begin to develop a followership. And that's good. But the true standard without error, standard without confusion, the true standard we should follow is the standard of Jesus Christ. No man, no woman in the history has demonstrated such powerful leadership to skills and principles as Jesus. His teaching will help us to, if we're going to enjoy true kingdom life. And the ultimate purpose of it is, I tell you a little bit about it. The ultimate purpose is that we may be like Jesus. Well, it's divided, you can say divide up in 52 chapters, if you will. And I made a note of several chapters that I like and was found it. I believe that all these chapters will help you to grow. Understand me, the first step of growing is to get the knowledge or require the skills necessary. Then the second one is to incorporate them in your life. And the third one is to reflect them to others through modeling and through by setting the type of example that we should. I'm going to tell you, he said, listen to all the laws. I found the laws credible, and I found the ones that are interesting to me. Law number one was Adam and the law of creativity. Creativeness is necessary to breaking acts of established patterns and order, and in order to look at things in a different way. We have to look at them in a different way. That's creativeness, the creativeness. And we are each born with a certain amount of creativity. We can do that. We can look at the standard and how things would do the pattern rather, because the standard never changes. The standards are excellent. The standard of holiness, if you're talking about the principle. But we can look at established patterns in order to create new patterns. Because in old patterns, there's a tendency for them to become stale, much like bread. Bread is good when it's freshly cooked. Bread is good when you eat it at a certain time, but that bread becomes stale. And if you eat it, then it will become stale to you. The Bible quickly outlines the principles of the salt He said, we are all as salt, but after a while, salt has lost its flavor. So we must do something with the salt before it loses its flavor. I found the second law also very interesting to me. For in that law, Noah and the law of commitment. Man, whatever you do, you gotta have a commitment. Committed folks get things done. Committed folks moving under direction get things done. It said that individual commitments to a group effort. That's what makes a team work, a company work, a society work, and a civilization work. You know who said that? Vince Lombardi. He realized that principle that if you got to have commitment, an individual commitment has to go with team commitment, and team commitment has to go with company commitment, and company commitment has to go with society commitment. Excuse me there. I found also the law number 4, which I like to share with you, is Sarah's and the law of doing the impossible. All things are possible if you only believe. The Bible tells us that. So we have to learn how we interact with the law of impossibility. Start by doing what's necessary. You can't attack an impossible situation until you start by doing what's possible. And then you do what's possible. You do what's necessary, then do what's possible, and then certainly, you are doing the impossible. You are doing the impossible. That chapter is really breathtaking and interesting and heartwarming. Oh man, I get all excited just talking about that chapter. And then the law number 5, is Jacob and the law of persistence. Jacob. One of the most interesting things I find in the story of Jacob, when he began to run from his brother because of what he had did, and he was tricked by Laban, and then he came back and he still was wondering what his brother Esau want to still kill him. A 20-year problem had still stayed on Jacob's mind. 20 years he had been struggling with this, with his brother. He still is faced with the idea of what he was going to do and the effects of 20 years. And then we find the story is that of course, God relayed to Jacob on a ladder, Jacob's ladder, and then hitting Jacob, the angel of God hitting Jacob in the knee, that he could have fellowship again with his brother like never before. His brother, maybe his brother thought about that, but when he met Jacob, he didn't have any animosity. The principle of persistence here, and you pursue in the righteousness of God, there is a reward. There is a reward. Well, if you stop at that law, you don't want to miss the law of patience. Moses tells us about the law of patience. I'll let you read it for yourself. You know, Moses and the children of Israel, they wandered around in the wilderness. They wandered around because the people didn't believe that God would deliver them to the promised land. Even after we have the promise, there comes a time of frustration and time of waiting. And then it appears when we do our part, God does what he wants to do. The law of patience. You got to have patience. Let patience have a perfect work. Then you will be lacking nothing. The New Testament tells us. Well, law number 8, that's a good one, is the Aaron and the law of culture. When we take steps in line with the principles and the plans of God, we totally affect our culture. You know, that's what I wanted to tell you all about the 52 laws. And in this first video, talking about the first 9 or 10 laws to give you an idea of what they are and kind of get your interest wet. And you just check out those laws and apply them to your life. That's what I'm doing. And you'll be surprised at how your life would change. Boy, I got a book for you to read. It's going to be a blessing to you. It's going to change your life and the lives of those around you. Check out the book, 52 Laws of Kingdom Leadership. I'll see you next time.